Yeah, first, I think it's become the norm over the last few years that, in February we're playing here at Hamilton Stadium. It's become the norm that we play a Mexican side here in February, at the beginning of February with a Mexican team. And yeah, for us, it's about kicking off our season. Obviously, it's a big year in this country for football. Um, we always want to do big things as a club, so hopefully we're able to start that off in the right way tomorrow night here.
The staff better given kind of football, but on this I'm actually with what they're left in the pro tour right now. What were the things you've noticed about the team out to a couple that's played local for next year? What have you noticed about them?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, when you look at it, they're probably the best team in the last 10 years in Liga MX, and you look at their success. But here's the thing about global football: no team is undefeated. So every team has their strengths, every team has their weaknesses. At this time of the year, and I've said it before in these matches, we have to be at our tactical best. We're not going to outrun an opponent. They're technically very gifted all over the pitch. They're in mid-season form. We're 4 weeks into not preseason, but preparing to play in this match. So we come from different areas. So you always have to take those external circumstances into consideration, and it's usually about the game plan for us, but it has to be even more about that. And we know that the finer details make the difference. Again, they've got quality across the park. They have to come in here and face different conditions. They played a couple of nights ago. Deal with what will be a little bit different atmosphere from the temperatures, and we have to take advantage of that. We saw that last year in our game against Monterrey. In the first 20 minutes, we've had 3 excellent chances to be up in the score, and we didn't take advantage of that. And that's important in these games when you're playing a team like Tigres.
A message to Hamilton area soccer fans here. So but also working for you to talk a little bit.
Yeah, we talk about this each year. These are the important games, and these allow us to keep on growing our stature as a club within CONCACAF, and that's very important for us. We see the importance of this competition when we travel every year to Mexico, and in years past in CONCACAF League, traveling through Central America, and how important continental competition is. And I think that message needs to be greater around our community when it comes to these matches. And maybe that's the time of the year that we have these, but our support has always been great in these games, and we want it to keep on getting bigger. So it's a little bit of Canadian cold, but let's get more people out here. The more, the better for us, because our players feed off of the energy of this crowd, and we take pride in playing in these big matches at Hamilton Stadium.
Canadian playing club, been getting an awful lot of attention. Both chooses Canada to play. This is the first opportunity to see all those.
Yeah, know more about his past, and obviously he's been at Tigres, for a few years now, and obviously he's getting his break in the lineup, and you see that with a few of the moves they've made with, moving a player like Antuña on to Pumas. That frees up more space for him, and he's been excellent to start the clausura for him, which obviously for a player I think is very important. For a player, it's important to have that support from the club and give him the confidence, and I think he's a player that's playing with a lot more confidence. Obviously, a lot of skill playing along that left side and inverting. So we'll see if he's on the pitch tomorrow.
Just express some doubt about that.
Well, you don't know what their lineup's going to be.
You're still on Zoom, go ahead.
Come on, Mitchell. It's only been 2 months off, man.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Good. I'm in preseason form, as you can see.
There you go.
Bobby, you mentioned it there, the first 20 minutes against Monterrey last season, and the missed chances. Obviously, clinical finishing in these games is crucial. Is there something you guys have learned from over the years in terms of trying to be more prepared? Because rhythm obviously sometimes dictates being more clinical, but you can't have that this stage of the season. So what have you kind of worked on to ensure that if you guys do get those chances early on, that you bury them this year?
Yeah, I think it's something that's you can't really specifically work on. You've seen in the last few years in this competition, we've had those opportunities early in the games, whether we look at last year or the year before, so on and so forth. So, it all comes with just taking that chance. That's what we need. And we've seen on the flip side of things, it's maybe our opponents taking their first chance, whether that's coming 20 minutes into the game, 30 minutes into the game. So we need to be a little bit sharp in both of those details. One, in front of the opponent's goal, and two, especially on the set pieces. Something I've talked about quite a bit. Something we've talked about quite a bit with this group. And we're a team that's fantastic in season when it comes to how we defend and attack set pieces. Hasn't been our best point in these matches. So you work on it a little bit more. In training, you talk about it a little bit more, and that's just the decision of the moment and the sharpness of the players. They know it. And now it just comes down to execution.
Will you follow up?
Just quickly on any availability for this game. Any updates on that? Are all the international signings available?
Yeah, everyone's available other than Nana. Unfortunately, we have I don't know what to call it, visa issues with a player who's been here for 2 years, and we still can't get him back in here. So we're hoping it's a day by day thing with him, but everyone else available.
Harley, go ahead.
Hey, Bobby. I wonder if I can get your take maybe more generally on kind of the state of your squad. Obviously, there's some new faces in there, as you mentioned, quite a few, I guess, experienced players that have moved on. I guess just how happy are you with kind of the makeup of the team? Just how different do you think this team looks right now?
Yeah, we're never going to be that much different as long as I'm here. I think the day comes and I'm not here, maybe the team looks a little bit different. I hope not. That the club always keeps an image of playing football and doing things as we've built. So, when you recruit and you bring in new players, you bring them in the mold that we look for. That's why we're very particular on how we go about things. It's also why we don't rush into making certain signings. So, the team is one way today, and the team will look a little bit different when April 1st, April 3rd, I don't know when the first game of the season is. It's far away. We'll look. But at this point, quite happy with the group. And what we've seen in preseason, and we've had 4 very good friendly matches to prepare. A lot of training and just integrating some of the new guys, some young players, some young exciting players. So it's quite good. New goalkeeper in the squad who, I think will bring a lot of quality to us. So, generally happy, but until you play that first official match and you keep on going and you see all the positives that you're going to get from that and what you need to keep on building on.
And can you maybe just elaborate a bit on these 2 international guys you guys announced over the weekend, Dimitri and Antoine, and maybe the quality and the, what they can bring for your group?
Yeah, I think 2 different players, 2 different looks. Antoine, we're always looking for a player, and it's important in this league to have players that can play different positions. That's one thing that's for sure. We have a salary cap, we have a roster cap. So you need to be a guy who can play a couple of positions, and he fits that area where he can play as a center back and play as a number 6 as well. And just an excellent footballer, great passer of the ball, something that we like from our defenders, and then tenacious defender. Brings a little bit more grit to the back line. With a guy like Malik that we lost, it's another supplemental piece in that, and the physical presence with guys like Rama and Marko Yevremovic and so on. But most importantly, good football IQ, which is the first thing we look for in players, and great mentality, great attitudes fit right in with the team. And then goalkeeper, it's always a tough one. It's always tough to follow up Tristan Henry. We get Jazz in here, and it's always tough to follow up Jazz. And we've been searching and scouring the market, and I think we've got ourselves a good one. Dimitri is a hungry keeper. Obviously, he's got a good pedigree and where he's been. One club throughout his career in Montpellier, with quite a few games in Liga, which, as we know, is as top as it gets. So we're happy to have him here. We're happy to have him working with us on the initiative we have as a club to keep on getting better, and look forward to how those guys continue to develop in the squad.
Oliver, go ahead.
Hi, Bobby. You just mentioned Jason Kalela. I wanted to ask about him and Alex Ashnioty-Johnson. Is the door kind of closed on those two now, or is that still something that's open as we move through the CPL off season?
Yeah, I think, the idea that we just went and picked up a goalkeeper that's playing it in Ligue 1 probably closes the door with Jazz, and he's moving on, and those are good discussions that we've had with him, and we wish him all the best and continue talking with him in general. And until somebody is locked up somewhere else, the door is always open.
And just to follow up, you have quite a number of under 21 players, particularly in the midfield and attacking positions on your roster this year. Was that kind of by design, and maybe what was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, I think you look how you can become better as a squad. It's not generally how do we sign younger guys, how do we sign quality players, and I think there's a good group of good crop of young guys that have come on our radar. Obviously, some we've known before in Kevon Tavernier, and then a guy like Ismael Oketokun through our contacts in Spain, and somebody we tracked over a while. You want these exciting young players. They bring a different energy to the team. They bring a different energy to the pitch. And yeah, it's part of what we want to do. It's making sure that we're developing some of these younger guys. We see the success of Jose Masunda, and we hope that he has an excellent season here this year, and maybe not here beyond. So you always got to think about what's next.
Jose, go ahead.
Thank you. Coach, you touched on this a little bit early on, but I wanted to go back to it because I feel like it's an important year for Canadian football, and I just want to get your sense on what it is like in Canada right now when it comes to football, and how much excitement can you guys build throughout this competition leading into the World Cup?
First and foremost, it's cold. So that's the first thing. But from a football perspective, yeah, there's obviously a lot of excitement. The world is coming here, and it's coming here for a few games, but part of the biggest event that exists. Even bigger in many ways than the Olympics. You've got a national team, men's national team, who's done excellent. Was in the last World Cup. Keeps on doing better things. More players coming through the system, more players playing at top levels. The Canadian Premier League doing a great job. This year we have 3 teams from the league competing in Champions Cup. So I've always said this, with all the difficulties that go along in any federation or in football, this is the best period ever for Canadian football. Men's national team, women's national team, professional league, players moving into top leagues around the world. I've been involved in the game here at different levels for 20 years, and we're in the best spot possible. And I hope that this year gives us a little bit of a boomerang, or not a boomerang effect, but a little bit of a jolt that sets us forward a little bit quicker than we need. To keep on developing players and to keep on getting better. That comes with challenge, which is good challenge, and we have to challenge ourselves to be good, to be better in these competitions, so that our players keep on rising to the top.
Ventura, go ahead. Ventura,
Hey, can you hear me, Coach?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You talk about 3 teams from Canada in that CONCACAF Champions Cup. Do you think is the weather the best weapon from that Canadian teams against the other teams from the other regions?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I just didn't hear it.
Yes, sir. Is this the weather the better weapon that 3 teams from Canadian have against the rivals from Liga MX or Central America?
The best weapon is always the tactical weapon on the field. We can say that sometimes the weather, but I think Monterrey came here, did a pretty good job last year, and Chivas the year before. So in the end of the day, it comes down to what you do on the pitch. It's unless you're playing in the Mexico City, which we've felt is quite different at the altitude. The weather, the players get over it after 15, 20 minutes. It's normal. The body, the adrenaline goes. It's tough for us standing on the sideline a little bit. So I think when you look at an experienced teams like those that we've played from Liga MX, I don't think it's much of an issue for them. Maybe a little bit of a shock factor to begin, but when the player is moving, it's not a problem.